Arriving at Colosseo.
Welcome in. We got some more bonus content. Colosseo, one of the new push maps here on the Overwatch 2 Alpha. Based off of Rome, as you can tell off the architecture a little bit. Here is one of the spawn rooms. Just a big open courtroom with some statues. And pretty simplistic, but Roman feel. Running out of spawn here. A few things I want to take note because I'm not going to come back this way. This is the end of our team's side. So if they push the bot all the way here, we will lose. You'll see there's a lot of unique places to hide. Of course, we have the right out of spawn areas behind these walls. However, there's some good flank angles here with the Mega on the left side. And from scrims that we've played so far, this left side corner has been the keystone of holding this third point end of defense. There's multiple forms of cover. There's a Mega over here. There's a good flank angle. But yeah, that's pretty much the big one. There's a high ground up here at the top right. However, I haven't really seen a whole lot of people use it. I actually forgot how to get up there. I think you actually can only get up there from the defender's side. Yeah, that explains it, because this is more of an angle facing in, so you don't really have a reason to come up here. Unless you're playing like Sojourn or Widow. Widow's not very good here. The path right here is the path the bot will take. And pushing the cart. Here's the first checkpoint, first and only checkpoint. So if you reach this location with the objective, your spawn room gets changed and pushed closer towards the enemy spawn. That way the spawn isn't too ridiculous. Heavy fighting here, I've noticed in scrims, is very much based around this high ground, this bridge, this corner. Controlling all of these when you're on your defense and when you're on your heels a little bit is extremely critical. It's a very powerful position to be in on defense. However, though, if you get the cart underneath, you have to be careful because you don't want to drop straight on them. But however, though, if you let them reach this end here, they're going to get new spawns and they get a checkpoint, which is bad because the checkpoint triggers a break where the bot stops pushing, kind of like how in Escort and Hybrid, the cart stops moving for about 10 seconds or so. So you'll lose that if he ends up pushing the bot to this point and they come back. Let's say you lose the fight here, push the bot all the way back to their side after winning the fight, and then you lose a fight over there and they come back. There will no longer be this checkpoint to slow them down. You'll just immediately start having to fight again. Regardless, though, you have to have this balance of holding down here to make sure they don't push it through, as well as holding the high ground. There's a lot of corridors here through here. This bottom left here, there's actually a doorway up there, if you noticed. Heroes that are quick, like Genji or Sojourn, are really good at being able to come up into this window or drop back down. And this actually serves as a little mini highway with a Mega here over to the other side, where it's an identical high ground. I'll show you that in a minute. Following the progression, down here there's some rooms down here. I've noticed in brawl comps there's heavy fighting down here a lot of times because you don't want the cart to hit the end of the point. But this is actually where the game starts, right here. This corridor is the beginning of the game. So here's Tim, the bot, hanging out, just vibing, doing his thing. Here is your team's defensive objective, and here is your attacking objective. You want to push this one in. You don't want that one to reach the end. If you notice here, there's a lot of cubbies and corridors. Same thing on the other side. To hide in and play angles here. This beginning fight is very intense because losing the first fight can really put you on the back foot. So I've noticed that teams especially will like fall back this way. In scrims, I even fell back about to here because the bot will come to this corner and push this way. So sometimes giving a little bit of ground if you're losing to be able to utilize these high grounds above can be a very usable strategy to flip the fight. Continuing on, it's a mirror of the opposite side of the map. It's exactly the same, maybe just like a little bit different architecture-wise, but regardless though, the rooms are all the same. These are actually really cool. They're look like Roman takes on Overwatch's style, which is kind of lit. Here is your attacking objective, so you'd actually want to capture this. I can show you where the updated attacker spawn is if you were pushing from the opposite side. So this room, if I was on this side to spawn, if you push it to the checkpoint, you'll spawn in this room. So as you can see, it's a lot closer as opposed to there, which is where you would originally spawn. So getting this checkpoint is a major turning factor in the game. Again, up here, very much mirrored assessments where you can come through this little highway and get quickly onto the other side. This is where I've noticed that a lot of flankers will fight it out in controlling that mega area. Lastly, same thing on this side as well. Pushing through here. It's a very mirrored defense. You'll notice that over here has the same cubby with the mega, and then you have the inside here with the high ground. This way that no team has a real distinct advantage, and I think that's really cool, because why 2CP doesn't feel good is because the defensive side has such a heavy advantage. This is actually kind of the opposite, where neither side really has a map advantage depending on where you are. There's a little bit of an advantage. Based on architecture, you aren't put in a disadvantage based on whether you're attacking or defending. You're both always attacking, and depending on how well you're doing and how good your game sense and your map positional awareness is, you'll always be able to make something happen. So there you go. There's Colosseo. Colosseo's a lot of fun. Push has actually been a very enjoyable change. So, and that's my own personal opinion. But also, before I end, that is so cool. The architecture is so cool. On the next one. All right. Hello. I'll give you a map walkthrough of New Queen Street, otherwise known as Toronto. I'm on one of the spawn rooms here. I'm actually gonna at the very end swap teams so you can see the other spawn room because it looks really cool. But yeah, this is the Toronto subway is where you spawn in. Very basic looking spawn room, I guess. There's two ways out and come out into the map. But yeah, here is the end of point, or the end of game defender's point. So if the enemy pushes their objective all the way to here, you lose. So in the scrims that we played so far, the only time people will really hold up here is if the game is about to be lost. Regardless, though, it's a decently nice spot to hold at the end. I would say it's, in my opinion, the other side feels a little bit better, but I could be just because I always went on the other side when I won. I don't know. Regardless, though, much like many of the other maps, there are many paths to getting out. The street is where the bot pushes the objective, and we'll get our way down there in a second. But I just want to show you some of the high grounds, some of the different pathings that you can take down these routes, the many different rooms that are here. This is when you hit the end of first point objective. So there's one checkpoint you can hit that moves the spawn room closer to the enemy. Out here is my favorite part of the map. This right here, I love playing Widow right here. I have rolled some very good players on this angle with Widow very early on because it's such a unique angle to hold. But as you see here, this is actually the beginning of where the game starts. Here's Tim, our bot. This is the enemy objective. You don't want to let this one push. And this is your objective. This is the one you want to push. So as you can already notice, there's this massive high ground over the top that you can use. However, in my experience with scrims, people don't really use it that much. This room is much more used, as along with these inside areas, like right here, this hallway, and the mirrored side up here. Push is very much a mirrored design philosophy, where both sides of the map don't have an advantage. They're very mirrored. So, I mean, even if you see right here, like splitting it down the middle, although it does look like the bot is more on one side than the other at the moment, but splitting this right down the middle, you can tell that they're very much similar. There's both a window on both sides of the subway cars, or not subway cars, they're whatever the street train cars are. You can see on both sides there's the alleyways with stairs with different graffitis, even as much as like the lights that are there, the light poles. They're very much a similar design on both sides. I think this is done intentionally so that it doesn't feel like one side is, you know, stronger than the other. When you push to the end here, right here is where you trigger the first point objective. Pushing it to this point will stop the point from pushing for about 10 seconds or so. You obviously want to do this as an attacker because you get closer spawns. I believe the new spawn room becomes this room. If I was on this side right here, and I had pushed the cart to the mirrored checkpoint on the opposite side, the spawn room becomes this room, as opposed to being the spawn room. Again, if you notice, there's many pathways all the way through here. There's these underneath routes, so you don't get stuck or you get spawn camped. Which I don't know if you can really get spawn camped in that attacker spawn, but hey, you know what? You never know. More future-proofing than anything. A good way to get yourself out of a sticky situation. So, as the bot continues to push down this way, here's the end of the point. You want to push the bot and the objective all the way to the end here. Heavy fighting in scrims is typically around this area. This high ground is really hard to push people out of, as well as this part of the street. You need to challenge the people holding high ground, and this corner area really hard to get them out, which gives obviously the defending side an advantage, but you also have the advantage yourself if the enemy team pushes you back pretty hard. Lastly, right here, it's the end of the, if you push it to here, you win. There's not just one street though, there's actually the main street, there's a small flank over there, and then there's a more wide flank over this way. So even at the end, there's still good routes you can take, so you don't feel like it's 2CP, where you're getting stuck in trying to attack the last objective. I do want to show you the other spawn really quickly, so we're going to cut. Okay, so here is the opposite side spawn room. You spawn inside this curling arena, which is really cool, and I'll let you just listen to the sounds for a second. But yeah, this is just another attacker spawn. It does feel a little bit faster to get out than the opposite side's does. However, though, I would argue the other side's defense here, because of this tree in the way, is a little bit better. So maybe a little bit faster respawn to fight at the end here, as opposed to a better positional advantage. That's more my personal opinion, though, as opposed to fact. And those are also my observations between just playing in the alpha and doing some more high-level scrims with other top 500 players, or even going against pros in the alpha. So yeah, there you go. New Queen Street, Toronto map. It's a beautiful map, and I think that the push game mode is going to be a very nice welcomed addition by the Overwatch community, and a nice replacement for 2CP, because man, I'm so glad 2CP is gone. I did not like that game mode very much, as well as many other players, and I think we will all enjoy push. Top speed.